new LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't undo your last hire, the no-show. Who set you back because they didn't show up on day one, or day two, or ever again. And now your product launch is delayed because you're talking to alien abduction podcasters to track them down. But LinkedIn Hiring Pro can help make sure your next hire sticks. In fact, businesses who use LinkedIn are 24% less likely to reopen a role in the next 12 months. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/quality.
This episode is brought to you by Accenture. When your advertising operations fall out of sync, everything else follows. Spotify and Accenture are working together to reinvent the rhythm of ad sales, using automation, analytics, and smarter workflows to simplify campaign delivery and access better data across the business. The result? Less time spent on operations, more time connecting brands with the moments and fandoms that matter most. Learn more at accenture.com/Spotify.
This podcast is part of the Robots Radio Rocket Club, a program designed to help all podcasts reach their full potential. For information about joining the Robots Radio Rocket Club, check out robotsradio.net.
Welcome to the Final Fantasy Lorecast, a podcast dedicated to the history and lore of the Final Fantasy series. Join us as we take a deep dive into the different worlds, characters, and so much more. Welcome back, Warriors of Light, to another episode of the Final Fantasy Lorecast. I am one of your hosts, Ben Otamaria, and you might think I sound a little different today, and that's because I am sick. Still getting over a cold, so bear with me as I am dealing with that. But always with me is my good other host here is Trey.
Hello.
And Steven.
Hey, hey.
And today is our patron night of our month. And of course, we have the Hylian Cubby with us again. And as we talk about stuff in Final Fantasy, welcome, Cubby.
Great to be here.
And we are going to be going over on magic and summons and how they're different in each game or how they're attained and acquired and so forth. So I will open it up to everyone there.
Yes, let's talk more magic and summons.
Yeah. Yeah, it really intrigues me that the fact that it's so it feels like it's so different the way that magic spells, summons, other things are acquired and and who it's available to kind of really intrigues me throughout the series. It seems like it kind of goes back and forth. It's not a consistent. So I wanted to find out a little bit more about that. That's why I proposed this for the show.
Well, you're gonna have to inform me a little on the front ones, but
yeah.
So I know in like the first 5, I know the mage. You basically just have black magic and white magic, and some summon magic later on. Is it just the classes pretty well that can use it all the way through 1 through 5?
In 1, definitely, it's job class. Your white mage, black mage, red mage, and then when you level up, when those classes tier up, then some of your classes, like your ninja class and your knight class, can use like low level magic, black magic and white magic respectively. You have to buy the spells. And it's a tiered system. Like there's no MP, which I think MP probably starts with 2. Although again, MP I don't think is consistent. But you can only learn. It's very like a D&D type system where you can only learn a certain number of spells at each level, and you can only cast a certain number of level spells. Right.
There's 8 levels, and you can learn 3 per level.
That's right. So like your white mage, you have to choose, do you want to, there's like in that game, I remember there's white magic has a spell that can damage undead, right? I think it's called harm in the original one, right? Do you want that spell? Do you want to be able to damage, cast damage spells with your white mage, or do you just want them to focus on the healing and the restoring? You have to choose that.
Well, they're level 8 spells. It's a perfect example. So
Yeah.
You get to level 8, and you got to pick 3 of these. You have Holy, which does damage.
Yeah.
Null All, which negates elemental damage. Dispel, which cures anything. And then Full Life, which is a full revive. So even then it shows, okay, you have to make a choice. And me personally, I'm probably not taking Null All, and I'm taking Holy because I like to be able to do damage all of the time. That's just, I love the chaos. I'm a chaos enthusiast. What can I say? But just like that example right there is showing exactly what you were saying. Just proof on paper.
Yeah. The other thing that's interesting that I always find interesting with 1 is I don't know how else to call it, but other than call it like item magic. That one of the key things, since you're so limited on the number of spells you can cast, between sleeping, the key is to find these certain items, whether it's a weapon or a piece of armor that you use as an item in battle, and it casts that spell. And those are reusable. Like I know in some other games there might be one-time uses, but in the original, it's you can use it every single battle. So it's very helpful.
Trey is Garland, by the way. You're right, Sharp.
Sharp's got figured us all out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're in the later games. Is it kind of like how you have like, I forget which one it is. I want to say it's 7, where you have like Firecracker or whatever, where it has a name for it, but it'll do fire damage or whatever. Molotov or things like that.
Yeah, those are one-time use items, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I just have to play 1 to see how that works. Sounds interesting.
I remember having the mages and just leveling up, being excited, getting to level up, because you knew when you got to that next town, you were probably getting a new set of spells, and you were going to get to find out what you were getting. And like you said, in the later games, like, oh, well, once I unlock Thunder, everybody can get Thunder. Or my Black Mage is going to have all the spells. But even like in this, it was, okay, I'm going to get Blizzard, Thunder, and then you don't get Fire, you get something else that's different. And it was always something different. And it made you have to kind of, even if you didn't use the other spells and you still just brute forced your way through, it kind of forced you to consider using them at least and put it in that little worm in your brain.
Right.
Yep.
I'm definitely a brute force. Like I hated using magic every time. But I think it's interesting at 7. So I'm going to be talking more about the later games, obviously, because that's all I have the experience with. But like in 7, you have the materia. So literally anybody can use it. I don't recommend it, but literally anybody can use it. So you can have but it'll like knock off part of your power or your strength. So when you go to attack, if you have a whole bunch of materia attached, your actual attack, your just basic attack will go down. But like I said, literally anybody can attach it to any piece of armor and learn it.
Mm-hmm.
And so in 1, can it? Oh, go ahead, Ben.
Well, I was just gonna say, from what I'm hearing about 1 is, and we've gone over this ourselves in our very first few episodes of how Final Fantasy 1 is essentially just, they took the D&D concept and just ran that into their own direction. And I haven't had a chance to play 1, but like I've played D&D. So with my D&D knowledge and or even anybody who hasn't played the first Final Fantasy but plays like Baldur's Gate, any of the Baldur's Gate games, and you want to go and play something different and go play Final Fantasy 1, you're going to feel like you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, but it's going to be more of a high fantasy setting rather than a medieval fantasy setting.
Yeah. Is 1 turn-based?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it's turn-based. The original interface. Can
anyone use the items?
Anyone can use the items, yeah. Yeah, so you can totally give your white mage, the
item that does fire.
An item that does a lightning attack.
So that's the workaround if you want to do like magic damage with your knight or someone like that. That's an option in 1, especially with the items being unlimited
That's
use.
right.
Whereas in 2, you learn magic from the scrolls, but you can also use the scrolls to do the spell as a one-off. But then, like I said, it's a one use. It's not unlimited like it is in Final Fantasy 1, like you were saying. So it's a little bit more of a you really need to be in a pickle if you're going to use that item on a one-off. And I mean, it does pretty good damage. It says it does a moderate level, and I guess in 2 it scales from 1 to 16. But I think I like the idea of having the scroll, and that feels very D&D / Baldur's Gate-ish, is the scrolls, and you learn it from the scrolls, or you can use the scroll like as an item. I think that one's kind of interesting to me. Did you play 2? That's not one I ever went with. I've heard such bad things. I'm waiting until I get the Pixel remaster and before I even try it.
Yeah, I don't know if they how many quality of life improvements they've made to 2. When I played it on an emulator, back in college, it was brutal. Like the leveling system was really wonky. It makes sense for Magic, right? It's you level up based on casting, like doing things, right. But that part made sense. But
getting hit to get HP or defense it's not the best. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. In hindsight, it kind of reminds me, from what I know now, it kind of reminds me how like the Elder Scrolls games do level up, right? You got to get hit wearing heavy armor to level up heavy armor, but it was very clunky back in those days. But I think with the tomes as well, I think the more tomes you have, like it stacks, so the spell gets more powerful depending on how many of the tome or the scrolls that you have in your inventory. I think it's something like that. I feel like that's similar to other games.
That's what they do in 9, yeah, with the summons, actually. So the more of the gems that you have in your inventory of that specific summon, that determines how powerful the summon is.
Yep.
That's funny how from sounds like 2, they kind of went towards like what Elder Scrolls was doing, which God, it's weird how Final Fantasy, like they piggyback off, like the first one looks like they piggyback D&D off like that's
it's just out. Inspiration.
Yeah. Hey, I never said they copied it.
I mean,
what would the timing have been on that? Like, when would
it was right.
When would Arena have come out?
Arena was in the 90s.
Okay, so
I want to say.
Yeah, I think probably
I would have to look that up.
1 and 2 was probably before.
Yeah,
before Arena even.
1 was in the late 80s, like 87 or something like that is when it was released.
Yeah, and Arena was 94.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was out.
So that's more around the time. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, you guys go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's about the time that, say, like 6 maybe would have been coming to the United States as 3. That Arena would have been coming out.
Yeah, because 7 was 90. I think it was 97.
Yeah, because it was with the original PlayStation. And I agree with Sharp in chat. All you need to do is jump in Morrowind, and then you get your infinite jump stat, and then you can jump and literally fall wherever in the entire map of the game. Because Morrowind's busted if you want to min-max crap.
Like how you can just sneak everywhere for the first few hours in Skyrim, and you just become unstoppable. Nobody ever knows you're coming.
Right.
It's just slow, but you can do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do that in Final Fantasy VIII when you draw all the magic out, but I'll get into that in a minute too. But no, so like, I mean, 2 has the scrolls, 3 you buy the spells in the store. It seems like they kind of went with that theme for the first few games pretty well. I don't know if it was that way in 6, but at least up until 7, and then 7 you could still buy it in stores, but that's when it changed in terms of just everybody can do everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I found it out in the wild too. Like in 7, just through exploration, you also found the magic also.
Yeah, and I think that's true in 3 as well, where in 3 they add, you've talked about it a bunch, right? That they add the summons in. I think 3 goes back to the job class idea, where only certain job classes can use certain types of spells.
I think that's where you upgrade. Like you get to a certain point, and then you upgrade to. I think when you meet Bahamut, right? That's when you upgrade to your next class, like your higher.
That's the first one.
That's the first one. Yeah.
Was that the first?
Did that happen in 3 as well?
I don't think so.
Oh, Sharp says I'm correct. Yes.
Damn.
Okay.
Fuck. Good for you, Steven.
I remember some things.
But then, my favorite 4, if we can move quickly, it's tied back to job class there. There's, only certain characters depending on their job class, but in that it's like serendipity, just by being a black mage and leveling up as a black mage, you all of a sudden, these spells just appear out of the thin air. You gotta, the first thing you do when you get Rydia on your team is you have to march around in a circle before you go to the first cave so that she can level up enough so that she can earn the lightning spell or the thunder spell, because you need that to get through the first cave, and she's completely useless without in the first cave without that spell.
You just walk in a circle and it levels her up.
You walk in a circle and fighting battles, right? And at that point, like that game, your main character Cecil starts off as, pretty overpowered. So he can take down pretty much any basic enemy himself. So you just kind of level her up, and that's kind of a continuing theme in the game, where you have to level up to earn the spell. This what always bugged me about the game, even though it's one of my favorites, one of the plot lines is one of the characters has to go and find the meteor spell, right? Because he's going to defeat Golbez, with the meteor spell, and it's this whole thing. But then at the end of the game, Rydia just levels up to a certain point, and poof, there's meteor. Like, it's kind of anticlimactic at that point, like, okay. But then summons are different. Summons are mostly acquired by battle. You have to actually find the summon and battle them. So there's a little bit of difference there.
I like that better, though, as opposed to some of the later games where you just stumble upon them when you're like, oh, this glowing rock over here. And now this super powerful spell. It's like, all right.
They also loop in some other magical things. Like there's a bard that can sing, and that has magical effects. And there's a ninja that can do ninja spells, which are basically just like dumbed down, black or white magic, depending on whatever. But again, it's just kind of either story related or serendipity, leveling up is how it's learned. So that seems like that's a departure from what I'm hearing you say, is even in the later games, it doesn't feel like they go back to that in later games.
Not really. No, it becomes more of what you equip to what character, and then once it's equipped, then it levels up. But it's not stuck on one person per se, for the most part. I mean, 10, you can jank with it a little bit on the board.
Mm-hmm.
You actually level up, but for the most part, you're stuck doing.
Yeah, I think 4 is the only one where it's like in The Boys, where you just randomly get your superpowers, and then what you can randomly do it once you level up enough. Like 5, even, it goes back to you have to be in the class, and once you reach the level to know the spell, then you have to go to the store. You have to go to the store and get the book, and then you have to read and learn the spell. So it's both you have to be a high enough level of a mage to qualify, and go get the book to learn it. And then from 7, it's a little bit different. But in 5, I know it goes back to that. I'm not sure about 6.
6
has specific like classes, right? Everybody has their own thing that they do.
Well, it's a little bit of both. So there's actually 2 characters in 6 that learn magic naturally.
Yeah.
Terra and Salis.
Yeah.
And so there's actually people who do runs where they do natural magic only. Like they don't use magic with any other. Yeah. Okay. And as an extra challenge.
It's a pain. It's definitely a pain.
Oh,
Makes
I
life
can
much
imagine.
more difficult. Yeah.
Because I mean, what Terra only learns like fire magic, right? And then Salis
Yeah.
only learns ice, or do they?
Yeah, and then Tara's, I forget. It's been so long since I played
Yeah.
it. I think her healing it wasn't great. When then
Yeah.
when you get Salis, hers is awesome. So I remember the first time I got
Gotcha.
first time you get her later in the game, it's like, oh, this is incredible. I don't have to stress about having to use items because she can actually heal. Whereas
And
most games, you can heal pretty early.
Yeah. And you're but it is available to any character through the Esper system, which again reminds me a lot of Materia, right? Your Espers are your summons, but then they also teach spells. Some equipment as well, like the Ultima spell. You can get that from a piece of equipment. And the other thing that 6 has is pretty much every character has a skill that has magical properties to it.
Mhm.
So even if you don't use Espers to learn the magic, you can rage with Gao, or you can dance with Mog. You can do blitzes with Sabin. So those all have magical properties. They're not as effective, right? Well, some of them are, but it definitely is limiting, in without having the ability to learn the magic through Espers.
It sounds more similar to 8 from what I've heard Trey talk about, is where you actually attach whatever the summon is, the GF, to the character, and they learn whatever the skills that particular GF is associated with. So like, I forget which one Trey will have to let us know.
Yeah, like Quetzalcoatl would teach you
Thunder, right?
Yeah, thunder.
Yeah.
And see, with that, they don't teach you the elements like that. It's more so like Ifrit, one of his that you learn is the strength junction. So once he learns that, you can equip one of your magic, one of the things of your magic, your stocks of magic into strength, and it ups your strength stat. And some magics are better than others for your strength stat. Like fire is better than life, but life is really good for your HP. And when you have a healing like one of the healing GFs, or one of like a lot of them will have the HP one. So when you learn that ability, you can really almost. Like I was on the first disc, and I think my HP was over 3,000 for 2 of my 3 characters, just from having that unlocked and from drawing 99 protect or life or something. So that's one way that you can kind of break the game, so to speak, in that manner.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not quite the same, but it is somewhat similar.
And there's definitely people who do that with 6, for example. Like you can equip certain Espers that not only trains magic, but then they also train skill upgrades. And so you by the end of the game, you have your Gao with max armor, and he's basically unstoppable. You said something on 7. I don't know how we're doing on time as well, Ben, but you said with 7, okay, good, we're getting the thumbs up. And I didn't realize this about it, because I know the materia system and how that works, how you attach it to weapons or armor, and it gives you the certain skills, right? And the materia itself levels up, right? And so there's advantages that you get from having a max level piece of materia. But what I didn't realize is if you equip magic materia, then it actually has negative effects on
your strength,
your other abilities.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes. So like your attack is
your attack
lower.
And your HP goes down. Yeah. The more you have.
And then they have other materia. So like early on, you get a purple one called cover. And so its stats kind of do the opposite effect, where it lowers your magic, but it raises your HP, it raises your defense and your attack. So you can cater if you want your tank or your attacking guy to have a boost in HP, and that you can cater their materia in that way also.
Does that also play into like how they level up, or is that just when is that simply when they have the materia attached?
Simply when they have it on there.
Okay.
Once you take it off, it resets to whatever.
Okay. And with that, cover, for example, if you level up that materia, does it give you a bigger boost the more that materia gets leveled up? Yeah.
So the more, and then there's ones for there's HP plus, there's MP plus, there's all of them. So the more you have them, the more battles you do, you gain AP through that, and that levels up the actual materia that you have equipped. So the more you do, the more those level up, and the better they get.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But with 7, I know you talked about how it comes to. It's interesting in 7 how they give it a origin. I don't know if they did it in the earlier, but in 7, it's the materia it's literally like a harvested version of the live stream, which is literally it's just dead people going throughout, recycling through the world, but it's literally coming up to the surface and being used as attacks. Or
for anyone who doesn't watch the podcast and just listens, I need you to go back and enjoy the smirk on Steve-O's face when he says dead people. The smirk on his face was
what it is.
Everything. It was fantastic.
You're using dead people to attack monsters is what you're doing, basically.
So Ifrit is the incarnation of all the dead souls of the live stream coming into the furious rage of a fiery monster.
You nailed it.
It's just Ron Swanson reincarnated.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
That joke broke Ben.
Other than the fact that everyone can learn all of the things and it's interchangeable, I really, really enjoy Final Fantasy VII system. I like how customizable it is because you can also do things. It has things like added effect, and then if it's linked, you can have added effect and fire. If you put that on your weapon, then you get fire added, the fire element added to your attack. Or if you put it on your armor, then that's the defense for it. And depending on how leveled up your materials are, it does, it's like 25%, 50%, 75%. So there's ways to really customize things like that too. It really, when you get into the nitty gritty of it and you break it, it's a really good system for breaking the game, for customizing your guys, for making characters feel the way you want them to feel, if that's your thing. Again, I'm like good old Steve-O over there. I'm a brute force kind of guy. I'll just level up and I'll smash your face into the ground, barbarian style. But it does cater to those who like to put some thought into it.
Or you can just get Knights of the Round and you can break the game that way.
What is it like? Double strike or double cut? Level that up to 4 times, and then just link that with Knights of the Round and cast it 4 times.
And then grab some
then
popcorn.
You can go make make some pizza rolls.
Isn't it like a 5-minute cutscene when you cast it?
It is forever, and when you do the 4 times, then it's literally like 20 minutes. You just sit there and watch the animation. You're like, oh.
I wasn't kidding about going and making pizza rolls. Like you got time to go. You can go turn the oven on. Like you got a minute, but
wait for them to cool down. Yeah.
But I mean,
before
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, because I was wrapping up on 7.
I mean, but you hit a good point, Trey, that we call these things RPGs, right? The idea is you're supposed to be playing the role in the game. And that's one of the things that has bugged me, with some Final Fantasies is the character is who they are. So how much role playing, really is there? And you basically hit on it in a lot of it, Trey, that you have the flexibility to design these characters how you want them to battle, right? And like you said, if you just want to make them all, Knights of the Round, cannons, you could do that. Or, if you want to make your, a particular character into a barbarian or
other than
whatever sort of
Aerith
class.
as an attacker, you're pretty universal there. Yeah, you can do pretty well anything. But I've tried to make her a tank, and she just doesn't have the attack for it. But other than that, and there are reasons why they don't worry about making her as fleshed out as the rest of them.
Why is that?
Well, she's not playable for as long as the rest of them. So, they weren't as worried about her past level 20 or so.
That was something that always confused me when I played the game, the first time, is like, okay, I'm getting all of these characters, but like I'm used to having the characters be like something, right?
Yeah.
Is this my fighter character, or is this she comes across as a healer magic user, right?
And she's like the only one, though. She's the only one that has a role.
And but that's the thing, yeah. And obviously, I mean, Cloud, you don't carry around a sword that big, without primarily being your, an attacker, right?
He's got some great magic stats too. He's really good at that. Yeah. There's only one, like Barrett. You don't use Barrett as one of your magic.
And I got the sense, you don't want him
though.
Trying to steal. Because he doesn't steal, but you get, Yuffie and she can steal effectively. But yeah, okay.
So are you doing a mid break, Ben?
No, we can do like up to 10 and then do a mid break. Or 9.
Okay, well, we talked about.
Let's go to 9 and then we can do the mid break.
Yeah, you already talked about 8 a little bit with the Guardian Force, the GFs, right? And the junctions.
Right. And I mean, so you draw magic from enemies, and then you, using your GFs, your summons, you're able to equip those onto your stats, but then you can cast them whenever also. But yeah, you draw the magic from the enemies, which I think is kind of interesting. So you just have to kind of go out and find it wherever you can find it. Which is it's different. You don't go buy it. You don't go find it on the ground anywhere and equip it once. It's sometimes you might find a draw point, like so you'll find a draw point and you run up to it and you can give it to one character and they draw, and you get like 6 to 8 Curagas really early in the game, but then that's all you get until you find a character later on that you can draw from on like disc at the end of disc 2 type of situation.
Oh, and so it's tied to the type of enemies. So
yes, so like a low level will have fire, and like even that same enemy, when you level up and the enemies level up with you, so that same enemy will have fire or fire whenever they get higher level. But yeah, so it's tied to different enemies, and then you draw the summons from them, or from like boss fights also. And if you forget to draw them, you just miss out on some of the summons or the GFs, which is very disappointing if you ever have that happen.
Oh, I don't like waiting around like that. I can't stand. I just like to beat the boss and go. It would drive me
It's
crazy.
it's very, very tedious. It's
I know.
You can't rush through 8.
Or you reload. I don't know if you have to do that much, but I know I've done that on plenty of games where you're trying to steal some item or draw a particular magic, and you keep reloading because they keep dying.
No.
Oh no, it's just very very time consuming, very tedious, but and everyone can do everything. It's not anything special. Again, it's like 7 where the base stats, like Zell is clearly your fighter. Selfie, I think is her name. I think her magic stat is higher. Renoa, I think it has a higher magic stat, but everyone can do everything. It's pretty universal. And then 9 is where they get back into the classes, and so like your main character Zidane, he's not able to cast fire. I don't think he even can use items really to do it a whole lot. It's back to Vivi is your magic caster, Garnet I think is your white mage,
Vivi,
and that sort of thing. And I know we talk about 9 being great. Is 9 just the best way they do magic also?
Yeah, it's the best at everything.
So wait, how do you learn the magic again? Like, do you have to still collect it?
You get equipment, and when you put the equipment, each piece of equipment has a particular set of skills that it teaches to the character, but it is restricted. So like some The armor will teach like water, and there's one like called Protect Girls, which is specifically for Zidane and Steiner, the knight. But the other, like, so they can learn that, but they can't learn water. So that same piece of equipment on one person, on one character will teach one thing, and then on another character will teach another. So yes, like I like that system the best, just because you put that piece of equipment on, you can go grind for 5 minutes, crank up until you get all the AP needed, and then you can take that equipment off and give it to another character, and they can learn the skill they need from it. I like that. 7 is just too loosey-goosey for me. That's why I like 7 the best, where there's at least somewhat of a structure. I need structure, so that's why I like 9 the best with that. Gives me some kind of direction to go.
Makes sense.
And then the summons are only for 2 of the characters in there, which you get like throughout. You get them usually through the story is where you'll pick them up from, just as you progress.
And what else I like about 9 is, so Vivi learns the magic, and those are their learned abilities. So it's not like you have to use AP points to equip the things. So most of his are like passive. So his AP total when he's level 50 might be 25. Whereas Zidane and Steiner, they're the abilities they learn from their equipment, they're more things that they do, like Protect Girls, where they run in and act as a cover for any of the girl characters. I think they've got like some immunities and different things for, being tanks and thieves. So their AP point total is higher than BB's because the skills that they're learning are active in. So if you have 50 points instead of 25, you can equip twice as much stuff, but they have so many different things. And the better the thing, the more points they cost. Like the good things, I think they cost like 6, 7, 8 points sometimes.
Oh God. Some of them are like 16,
even more.
Yeah. Like Garnet's at some points, she has like the half MP, where literally like every spell cast costs half the MP. That one's like 12. It's called
AP points.
Yeah, it's called AP, but it's also like when you're learning the skill, I think it's called AP as well. So it's kind of confusing when you say it out loud, but you literally have to, once you see it on the screen, it all makes sense. I'm doing a terrible job of explaining it, but you have a certain amount of AP that you gain more of it by leveling up. And that's how many skills you can equip passively or actively. There's like, it has like bug killer, man killer, things like that, where you do more damage against a specific type of monster. But yeah, you learn all.
Yeah, and like some of those are only like 2 or 3 AP, so you can run through and equip a bunch of those.
Yeah.
And that's how like you learn those early on, and it's that nice serotonin boost of, oh man, I'm learning this, and I learned this, and I learned this, and really later on in the game, you're unequipping all of those because you're, who cares to have them? But that early on, it's just so exciting to unlock them and get all of them. But no, I really liked 9's system. 10's is pretty good. I like it's pretty solid too. But I think 9 is probably better.
The sphere that you use in 10 is just it can get convoluted. That's why it's not my favorite. It's good, but the fact that you have a certain amount of spheres set, and that's how you.
Or if you drive your car off the road, how are you going to be mad that you're off the road?
That's fair. But the first time I played it, I was like, what do you, I want to go this way and I want to learn this thing. So you have characters, Titus, for example, the main character, he's your usual just attacker, he's a knight basically. But you can send him down the path of another character, say like Yuna, who's the white mage, and he can learn all those skills. It's just they're usually locked behind high level key, they're called key spheres. So you have level 1, 2, 3, and 4 key spheres, and those are what you use to go to different characters' sphere boards, where you can learn all their abilities too. So technically, yes, you can, but you have a limited amount that you can do. So it's fun for replay.
So you learn everything through Blitzball. Got it.
No, absolutely not. You don't play Blitzball. Oh, hey, you do. You get Waka's ultimate weapon through that, but that's why I've never gotten it before, because I hate Blitzball. But
no, it's like a huge sphere grid. Like if you can picture a huge, and each character starts at a different point, like a different corner along the edge, so to speak, or maybe a couple in the middle. And so Yuna, where she starts and the way hers branches off, she's the white mage of the story. So she learns all of the white mage abilities. The sphere grids that are towards her are more catered towards like MP plus 40. Magic plus 4 instead of being like HP plus 200 attack plus 4 type things. Orin's the tank, so his are geared towards that. Titus is like the main character. His is just kind of like the generic. But they do the way that you learn them is as you level up on the sphere grid, they unlock on the sphere grid, don't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you have to get you get them through battles where you get the different spheres. So you get like there's power spheres, mana spheres, speed spheres, and one other one. And those are
right. But just like magic, like you unlock it and then you just know it, right? It's like it goes back to you just magically learn it once you get there on the sphere grid. You don't have to go find a book or anything.
Right. Yeah.
But I like it because it, like Steven said, you can change up, and I think in later versions you can even customize the sphere grid and change it up completely to make it even more customizable. But the first release and that first playthrough, they do a good job of holding your hand for it if you want them to hold your hand for it.
I didn't want them to. That was my problem. I pulled my hand away and said, "No, I want to make him the tank." So that was a problem. But yeah, thank you for explaining that better than I did, Trey. And then 11, God only knows. Oh.
Yeah, we're not going to get into 11, but at this point, we are going to take a late mid break and be right back.
This episode is brought to you by Tidy Cats, here to level up your litter game with their new Performance Plus lineup. Your home is your happy place, your cats VIPs. So when it comes to the litter box, excellence isn't optional. Choose from products that specialize in max power clumping, low tracking, or odor fighting so advanced, stink won't see it coming. Tidy Cats Performance Plus. Mission mighty, keep it tidy. Shop now at tidycats.com.
Tomorrow morning is knocking. Stock your fridge now. How about a creamy mocha frappuccino drink? Or a sweet vanilla? Smooth caramel maybe? Or a white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Find Starbucks Frappuccino drinks wherever you buy your groceries.
All right, welcome to the middle of the show where we talk about everything with the podcast that has nothing to do with the lore of Final Fantasy. And at this point, I want to thank all of our patrons that support us. Thank you, Hylian, for supporting us. We really appreciate it. And if you want to support us, you can join us on patreon.com/Final Fantasy Lorecast, where you can get ad-free episodes or even join us on the show like we are tonight, talking about a topic of the patrons' choosing. And it's a lot of fun, and they typically go long, as Trey did comment. So it is fun. It is a lot of fun. So there's that. You can also support us on Apple and Spotify. If you leave a 5-star review on Apple with some words, we'll read it out loud the next time on the show. Or a comment on Spotify, which we actually do. We have one from on our Bahamut episode, so our last episode that we had from and I'm sorry if I butcher this. It's Mythic. I love listening to you guys due to the fact that you managed to keep my interest longer than most. You have given me the reason to buy more FF games. Also, Replay 15. It's so good. Smiley face.
Yeah, thank you. Somebody agrees. 15 is so good. You just have to give it another chance.
Well, there we have it. And then you can also...
Somebody's gonna have to hold my hand on the battle system. Okay, you're just gonna have to coach me through it. Maybe that's what I'll try and stream, is me struggling through Final Fantasy 15's battle system.
Just teleport and attack. That's all you got to do. Don't worry about anything else.
Become the Flash. That's all you do.
Yeah.
And if you can also find us on a few different Discord servers, the Robots Radio Discord at robotsradio.net, as well as my own Discord server, the Ben and Friends Podcasting Discord, to where you can find this show as well as the other shows that I host, the Holocron Histories, the Wizarding World Lorecast, and the Witcher Lorecast. All part of the Robots Radio Network, and you can also find us live every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Benotamaria. Please go follow, go check us out, get notified when we go live, and just even lurk or watch, don't matter. I am very close on getting affiliated through Twitch to where I can have subscribers, so then I can actually do a lot more on Twitch and start doing things that I want to do, such as like charity streams with all my favorite, Twitch streamers that are a part of the Robots Radio community. So when we do the Elder Scrolls, or this weekend actually, go and watch the Elder Scrolls Lorecast and the Tales of Tamriel Twitch channels, as well as Lotus of Doom, where they are doing a charity live stream all weekend long. Lots of fun. So go check them out. Go check me out. It's going to be fun. So, and I don't have anything else to add. Trey or Steven, do you have anything?
No. Follow Ben so he can get big and famous on Twitch, and maybe we can get some cool guests on.
Right.
Not that Hylian is not cool. You are very cool.
No, you can do a lot better than me.
But
why is everybody being mean to Cubby all of a sudden? I like Cubby.
I didn't say anything. Cool. Steve. Anyway, let's get back into more Final Fantasy.
Visible puts the ultimate wireless hack in the palm of your hand. With unlimited 5G wireless data and hotspot designed to keep you connected, powered by Verizon's 5G network. And no contract holding you back. Plans start at $25 a month, or get the premium Visible Plus Pro plan and save $10 on your first month when you use promo code HACK. Make the switch at Visible.com. Terms apply. See Visible.com for details.
All right, we are back, and we are on the 12 because nobody knows anything about Magic and 11 because it's an MMO that no one plays.
We just know that it has cool backstories for the summon. That's all we know. But 12, it goes back to, I think it was 5. Y'all were talking about where it has the job classes, and you kind of, did you have a job board in 5 where you literally like go through and like you need to be level? You're like a ninja 3 is in. So
I mean, there wasn't a board.
Yeah, you have
like a level up.
Okay, so in 12 there's an actual board. It looks like a chessboard, and you unlock things as you go. That they're worth more and more points, but you get things like at the beginning you pick a class. So you pick like Bushi, which is like Bushido. You get a katana as your weapon. Or there's Monk, where you're unarmed, or you get a pole, things like that. And literally any character can be anything. There's 0 restrictions on it. The only thing is, like, there are some characters have stats that are more fit for certain jobs. But you don't have to do that. If you want to make life a little difficult for yourself, you can make the tank guy, who's normally a tank, you can make him into a magic user if you really want. But that's literally how you do everything, and then you get everything through battling. So more points you get through battling, more you get, and you can unlock those job board things.
And then you buy the spells at the store, also, don't you?
Some of them, yeah.
Some of them,
I think all of them. You find some of them out in the wild, but yeah, for the most part, there are ones. Some of the higher up ones you have to buy, or you get them through
Right.
doing missions and stuff. But yeah,
Do you keep being able to cast those spells if you learn certain spells, as a white mage, for example, and then you change job classes? Do you keep the ability to cast those white magic spells, or do you have to be that class?
so they actually changed it in the Zodiac version, which was the read. They fixed things up a little bit. You can switch at any time, and you get refunded all the points that you used, but you don't get any of those same abilities. But you do get 2 different job classes. Once you get to a certain point, you get to choose a second class. So let's say you've been a bushy and you've been using katanas. You get to a certain point in the story, you get to pick a second class on top of that, so you can be a bushy and a red mage, for example. So you can be a katana wielding character who can use red mage abilities, basic fire or basic magic attacks.
Going back to what is it, dual classing in D&D, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say that's how you can get your paladin right there, is when you get to dual cast.
Yeah, 12 is it's my favorite of just the gameplay and the job system. Sorry 9, but 12 is the best with that, because it's pretty awesome how you can be literally holding a sword and a shield, like a katana and a shield, and you can also be blasting people away with fire or whatever it is. It's pretty
I also really like the gambit system.
Yeah.
Like I know it caught a lot of flack.
Once you figure it out, it's pretty easy.
But yeah, I think 12 is one of the most underrated. It's good. And magic's a small part of it, but I like the way the magic works in the game system, the way I'm a sucker for a job class system.
Yeah. The story's weak. That's why it gets hate, but everything else is better.
It's just Star Wars. Like
it is Star Wars. Yeah.
And I know they say there's only 8 stories to tell in Hollywood, and you just have to dress them up how you want to dress them up.
Yeah.
So this was just the time they were going to rip off Star Wars, but it does a fine job. Like if you go into it knowing, hey, this is their version of Star Wars, and just enjoy it, it's a good enough story. It's like I enjoyed it, but I've never been a huge gatekeeper of things. I love when things pay homage to other things, or even just rip them off, because I like the first thing.
Great. Yeah, that's why 9 is so great, because it plays homage to literally the first 8 games. It takes elements from all the different games, and it's like, this is what we were trying to do. Well, I guess the first 6 games, they kind of not.
Yeah, it's definitely for the first 6.
Yeah, not 7 and 8, but yeah, he took some of the best things from 1 through 6 and combined them into one game, and that's why 9 is that's good. Perfect game.
So I've got no notes on 13.
I got nothing. I can't help you. Ben?
There's magic.
I know they also have the job classes. They're not called job classes, though. It's just different styles. It's like Sentinel and some others. And you learn things based on which ones you have, which class you are. I remember Hope being the healer, but for me, I don't remember much at all about the 13 magic system.
Yeah, we need Sharp here, since he's played probably a few hours of it so far.
Yeah, Sharp's screaming at his computer right now. I can already see it because
Is he not angrily typing in the chat?
He's posted. It's like, I know, exclamation point 3 times over.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Sharp.
You got to join us on here,
sorry.
Got to become a patron so you can join us on here.
But there's 14 that
Commando
I do know about.
Medic. Yeah, medic.
I know.
So yeah, there's different classes. They have different classes that use it, but it's it's the same.
So magic is tied to the class, and you learn the magic through being a part of that class or using that class and leveling up.
Right, but it lets you switch it up based on pretty well, I think, any time. And it's very much a hallway game where you need to have they know pretty well what layout you're going to have to use to beat these bosses, because you can't go and grind levels. So
I love grinding.
13 definitely could use some touching up at the beginning for sure.
So there's just a certain number of encounters that you're going to have for when you reach a boss. There's no way to like
run back. There's no way to like run backwards and like pull them back, like pull the images back up. Yeah, no, it's you just run and then you're there. And you might want to have 3 Ravengers, because I think that's like the attack class. Like that's just like straight. You might want to have that, but there's no way for you to do it. Like it's not like you can, well, I'm going to be stubborn and I'm going to grind this out because this is what I want to do. The game is just like, no, you're going to play how we want you to play. And you might be able to deviate 1 or 2 things a little bit here and there, but that's it. And it's not the most enjoyable experience until you get to like that halfway point, and then you reach the big open world area, and then it all opens up. But until then, it's very limited.
So not an RPG. As it was defined earlier, not even close. But that's cool. Whatever. Ben, we'll let you talk about 14, unless anybody... Highland,
well, if we're gonna dig into that, are any of these RPGs, since we don't create a character?
Yeah, you don't have to create the character for it to be an RPG. I forget what defines it, but I've had this discussion with people before. As long as you are choosing
making choices,
then it's an RPG.
Yes. Yeah, as long as you, the player, are making the choices of the character and not having it as a definitive, like, straight shot, like, say, like Halo. Halo's not an RPG because you don't make Master Chief's decisions. Where in RPGs, you make the character's decisions. Regardless if there's a straightforward story or not, you're still making decisions in certain moments.
Yeah.
So.
And there's degrees to it. It's like not every game's going to be Mass Effect where you have the wheel where you're like, all right,
exactly.
I'm going to be bad guy or good guy with this choice, basically.
Right. So, 14, it comes down to literally the class/job. All classes and all jobs, no matter, and you can be one character and play all the classes and jobs. You don't have to make multiple characters. You don't need just, it's not like Elder Scrolls Online where you can only be one class and that's it, forever. Where you can have one character and then be whatever you want and choose and switch whenever you feel like it, as long as you have the weapon in your inventory and the gear to assort it with. Each job
and the time to complete the missions
and the time and the effort to complete all the job stories and all the missions and leveling and the grinding, and which it's not that hard, to be quite honest. It's really not. You can really upgrade, or you can really easily level up your class and job once you hit level 15 and just run dungeons, and you can clear most dungeons within an experienced dungeon runners. You can literally clear it within 10-15 minutes, if that, depending on the dungeon.
Now you say run, but I could only run for about 5 seconds before it made my character, then walk for 20 seconds, and then I could run again for 5 seconds.
That's not what I actually mean. You have to run through the entire dungeon, But yeah, I mean, each class, each job have their own specific types of magic and summons. Like the summoner is the only one that actually does the summonings. Your first summon you get is a carbuncle, and then you can get easy to learn spells. Black mage, white mage is pretty self-explanatory. Black mage uses fire, lightning, and ice magic, where white mage uses white magic. Pretty straightforward. Red mages use red magic with their own unique spin with rapier attacks. Blue mage uses blue mage is really interesting in 14, to where you actually have to get damaged by monsters to learn their attacks to then use that spell. It is like the blue mage is a limited job, so you can't use that in dungeons or raids or PvP or pretty much anything that's not solo.
What?
Yeah, because it is there's over 100 and there's I think over 100 different spells now into the blue mage spell book that you can learn throughout the entire game on all the different like monsters and everything. And some can be busted and they just like, yeah, no, this is limited. And like it's always about 10 levels below the actual max cap that you can max out at a blue mage. Blue mage right now is maxed out at level 80 when the current max level for classes and jobs are level 90. Blue mage can only hit 80.
And that's just because some of those abilities they can learn are so broken.
Yeah.
That
they literally added in the game just to kind of like, hey, it'll be fun to do this and to shut people up. Here you go. And then like it's like, but before we actually release this into the game, just want to give you a heads up, you can't use this in literally anything except for solo stuff. Have fun.
But you can change your class at any time. I don't know. I've only
so
played
you can change your class at any time, at any point in the game, whenever. Now your level of said class is going to be dependent on if you've actually leveled up that class or job. But you can't like switch mid combat. You have to do it like when you're in you can only do it in a rest area or a major city. So you can do it at any like waypoint, like with a aetherite crystal, or if you're in one of the major cities in the game, or in your own like player home or whatnot, if you can afford that. Because it actually has a freaking it has a housing economy. This game has housing economy. Why?
I remember you telling us about that.
Yeah,
freaking frustrating as all can be, and as like. Of all MMOs, like this is like the only MMO that has a freaking house economy. Why does this have to be the most realistic thing in this entire game?
Well.
But I mean, magic is pretty straightforward. Even like the non-magical like classes, quote unquote, like ninja, they use ninjutsu, which is essentially their ninja spells, but it's ninjutsu. Here, I summon a giant freaking shuriken and attacks you. Here, I summon a ball of fire that attacks you, or jets of water.
Pretty cool.
Paladins can use like holy magic as well at like higher levels. Dark knights can use their own form of like dark magic. Reapers, you can summon your own like shade to like a shade minion that can help and attack you, and like combine yourself with it to be even more powerful for a short time. I mean, there's a bunch of cool stuff. I mean, you also have a bunch of the other different healers. You have the Astrologian, which uses cards magic, which is kind of like playing slots, but with just only 2 different cards. So it's a 50-50 chance on what you draw, kind of a thing. So yeah, that's all it is. It's fun though. And there's also like there's story elements to like through your jobs that you like learn new skills and spells and all that stuff. So
Sharp is right. You don't use magic in 15. It's literally you have to brew it, like you have to make it into put it in a flask, and then you toss the flask at the enemy, and it does the attack.
So I vividly actually, I remember using magic in 15. Was that my mistake? Was trying to use magic?
Yeah, don't waste your time. It does.
I just got to teleport and slash. Okay.
That's it. 15 it has no magic system, despite like the whole story is about how the Noctis's lineage is the only people that can use magic in the world, but he doesn't use it. He can't put on the ring because the ring drains the life of whoever's using it, and that's the only way they can use magic without brewing it.
Well, they swing all the other way for 16, and they've got all kinds of people that can use magic and bears.
Well, yeah, but it's limited on who can use it, and it's also the same way. So I guess we could talk about 16 a little bit. We're almost an hour and a half into the episode. Let's talk about 16. So,
well, but like that was me throwing it to 16 real quick.
Actually, we only been recording for about an hour.
Oh, that's right. We were talking forever before.
Yeah,
forgot. But yeah, so in 16, there are people who are born with the ability to use magic. They're called bearers, and every time they use it, it slowly petrifies them, basically, until they're dead. But, you only get to use one character in 16, and you don't really use magic.
No, it's more... so you go through the game basically collecting summons, ions.
Yeah.
And as you collect them, when you get the earth one, you get some earth-based attacks. When you get the fire, when you get some fire-based attacks, but it's not like you have. I don't think you're like a magic spell.
Essentially, it's not a magic spell. You can use the essence of said you can use their essence and use them as yourself.
No, you can use like an actual projectile, like you can shoot out, right?
Yeah, you can like
fireball.
Say, it's just not like
it doesn't
Frigra or Fyra or anything like that.
Right.
It's not an actual spell. It's just the ability of said icon. So you just use their essence to use their own abilities. You're not actually the icons and dominants themselves. Yes, it's like magic, but it's also not the traditional Final Fantasy magic.
There's nothing like after I've spent some time away from it, I realize there's not a lot of Final Fantasy in Final Fantasy 16. It's a good game and it's a fun story, but there's not like all the stuff that you used to in all the previous games is not in there, other than some of the summons that you may be familiar with. It's there. No, you can't use status effects. You can't. I mean, there's not really items. You can't even get poisoned or anything like that. Like, I know it's a small thing, but it's one of those things where that's what I look forward to in an RPG is, some kind of strategy. And there's nothing really in there, even with the magic.
Are you sure you can't get poisoned?
It's definitely went.
Yeah, you can't get poisoned.
I don't think so.
There's nothing about it. There's no.
It's definitely went into the Kingdom Hearts action RPG route, and that seems to be the vein Final Fantasy is going to go into. Whereas we're going to get things like Octopath Traveler,
except
and
for
Triangle
Rebirth.
Strategy.
Rebirth still has that classic Final Fantasy stuff.
Well, I mean, it's
that's a whole different project.
It's a remake of a previous game. So,
exactly.
But it's also
I do hope that they bring in. They don't just have the one character, because even if it plays like 16, where you control the one, but you have the secondary characters, and it's almost like 12 with the game, and you have the other characters running around, that would be all right with me.
15 and 16 are almost alike. With you literally, like, you have people who are there, yes, but you don't even realize they're there. Like, they're just off doing something away from you. They're technically
you have to make them matter.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that's been my problem with 15 and 16, is that I want a whole team. I don't want one person and then there's just characters around him who are doing things that you have no control over.
So you don't directly control your party members?
There is no party. There's one person, and then you have people who will like follow you and allegedly help you in battle.
So 16, you just play as Clive.
Right.
And then typically you have with the get-go, you get Torgal, who is your dog. And then later throughout the game, you get like certain companions throughout certain parts of the story who do help you in battle. They do damage and they do stuff, but they don't do enough to really benefit the actual battle.
Right.
To where it essentially like, oh hey, they get like, it helps you do chain attacks and stuff like that with them, and that's essentially it. And they're
afterthoughts.
They're more just there for story implements.
Yeah.
But you're just mainly playing as Clive, and like you don't really like Clive can wreck an entire army by himself. He doesn't need a party. And But like
I missed that element.
That's fair, and I'm maybe it's just me, but I'm just so used to playing a like lone wolf, like a lone wolf type characters in most of the games I play. So I don't know if that's just me, just like, well, that's why I like, oh, this 16 is great because I don't have to do as much as like I did in 15 with dealing with an entire party.
Oh, I mean, Sharp brings up a good point. In 15, you can get to that point grid where you can unlock and where you can switch to the other characters, but I mean,
and I think
they're not a ton of
I
fun
don't.
to play
Did
with.
they added that in the Royal Edition or was that base game? I can't remember.
I think that was base game. I want to say it was base game.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure I remember seeing it the first time. But yeah, he's right. It is while you're fighting only. It's not like 12 where you can literally you never have to play as Vaughn, the main character.
Right.
You see him in the cutscenes, but you don't have to physically, except for the beginning where it's only him. You never have to play as that. Whereas 16, you have to play as Clive. You have no other, except for like 2 minutes where you play as somebody else.
Okay, it is. Sharp does confirm it is base game, and yes, Lone Wolf. Haha. Yes, Witcher. I did not.
That's the first thing I thought of too.
I did not mean to phrase it like Witcher inspired, but yes.
But yes. Yeah. So,
I'm envisioning like Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, where you have, which I know you guys aren't big Zelda fans, but it's kind of a similar thing where you can get companions with you, but they aren't necessarily as helpful. Like they have certain abilities that you can trigger them to do, but for the most part, for combat, they're just kind of off doing their own thing, and
exactly.
There's only one of them that's really useful. There's the Rito character Tulin who has a bow, and he just like headshots all the time, and then the other folks, they're just not helpful in battle for the most part. But it sounds very similar, that it's and that's the thing. Like Final Fantasy's always been about, in my mind, it's always been about that party system, right. And you have and okay, yeah, you could create in some of the games, you could create 4 white mages or 4 knights or something like that. That's one of the challenges for Final Fantasy 1 is do the party of 4 white mages and beat the game that way. Yeah, it's brutal. But it's always about that party, and then you try to balance each other out. Your summoner would get destroyed if they didn't have a meat shield in front. But behind that meat shield, they can decimate armies, like you said. Right. So it's interesting that they went that route with the most recent edition.
Yeah, I think that's the way a lot of them are going now because it's very narrative driven, especially, and so it's easier just to focus on one character and have the story told through their eyes.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, but again, like you said, there's really no magic per se, but there is this icon ability that you can kind of put on, and that's basically how you're able to cast magic in that in that way.
Heavy air quotes on cast magic, yeah, because it's not really. But yeah,
interesting.
And then we're not even going to talk about all the side games because there's too many and they're too convoluted.
Absolutely. Let's talk about. No, I'm kidding.
Sorry, Sharp. No Type 0 talk today.
Nope, and no Kingdom Hearts talk either. Sorry. Even though they use almost the exact same spells. Anyway, they do.
Well, it's been fun. It's copy and paste.
Yeah, it's Square. It's a Square game. It's easy. It's easy translation, so it's already done.
Especially 2. 2 is very easy. And 3.
Okay. Side tangent here before we end the show.
We are talking about
1 and 2. I would just make one comment. 1 and 2, specifically the 2 remix drove me effing insane because
it's so easy
until you get to Roxas right before you fight to get to the very end, and like, wait, I don't remember this fight when I played this for the first time like 10, 15 years ago. And then I playing the remix, it's like, who the hell is this guy? And just kicking my ass because he has freaking 20 stars or 20 hearts. Yeah. I was like, are you serious? I have like 5. It's like, what the hell?
The original version, it was so easy, but except for one, it was a pain because it was so clunky, and you were trying to, like, the cameras were bad. You couldn't. Anyway, that's a lot. Anyway,
yeah,
too much Kingdom Hearts stuff.
Yes, enough of that. There's a whole other podcast for that. Anyway, but yeah, thanks, Cubby, for joining us again this month. It's a lot of fun whenever you're on. And hopefully next month we'll get some more patrons.
Sharp.
It'll be a lot more fun when we have even more people on.
Right. Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, talking with you guys is great, but the more the merrier.
Oh, absolutely.
We're not cool enough now, huh?
Never get you back, Steve.
But yeah, so everyone, thank you for listening to the Final Fantasy Lorecast, and may the crystals guide you.
Thank you for listening to the Final Fantasy Lorecast. You can find us on the Robots Radio Discord at robotsradio.net. You can find us on Twitter at FFLorecast, and you can email us at fflorecast@gmail.com.